Let's go into our Wuji stance. Feet about shoulder width apart, facing comfortably forward. And just wiggle them around. Get to the point where all parts of your foot are making contact. Slight bend to the knees so they're nice and relaxed, not locked out. Bring your hips forward so the tailbone falls to the floor. Feel like the top of the head is being lifted upward, elongating the spine. Bring the chin down and in just a bit. Let the shoulders drop down, the arms come around slightly in front. Breathing in and out through your nose. As you breathe in, let your abdomen expand outward, drawing the breath all the way down. You have a slight pause, and then with the exhalation, the abdomen contracts back towards the spine, pushing the breath up and out the nose. And then again, a slight pause before you begin the next inhalation. Just focus on the breath. Take a couple of nice, deep, long, comfortable breaths. And then begin to notice your feet making contact with the ground, connecting to the center of the earth. Feel the earth rising up, supporting you, merging with you. Just step out a little bit wider, a little more stable platform. Put your hands on your hips with nice hip rotations. Trying not to move the head and the shoulders, have it all come out of the hips. Feel them slowly loosen up. And reverse. Let's do waist circles. So here you are from the waist, and then go to the side, back, and around. So the hips still move, but now you've got the rest of your torso engaged. And reverse. One more time around. Come to the standing position. Take the backs of your hands, the knuckles, rub them up and down either side of the spine, staying off of the spine itself. Turning it over so you've got an open fist. Tap up and down that same area. Now concentrate a little more just on the kidney area. You can do an open palm if you prefer. Then following the top of the glute muscle from the spine to the hip without hitting any bone. Come around to the leg crease, or we call the qua. Tap up and down that. Good. Put one hand over the other. I'll mirror you. Come up the right, down the left, up to the diaphragm, down just below the belly button. Just kind of build some nice warmth here in the lower dantian. And reverse. Good. Put your hands on your hips so your thumbs are on either side of your spine. Starting just above the hip bone. As you breathe in, you're going to lean back and push the thumbs in. Breathe out, you come forward and move them up about a quarter, half inch. Move back again. Just slowly work your way up your spine, pushing right into the muscles there. When you get to about the rib cage, work your way back down. When you get to the bottom, switch, get your fingers in there so your thumbs are now on the outside, and just kind of grab and squeeze. Actually, more of a massage. Good. Put a little bit of a wider stance. Water waves. Just turn side to side from the waist. Focus on your hands, especially your fingers. See if you can feel the air moving through between the fingers. And then maybe even see if you can feel some resistance as your hands move through the weight sheet, the energetic field around your body. Get a little further around each time. Good. Let your hands drop, your arms just hang like ribbons of silk as you continue to turn from the waist. And then start to pick up some momentum. The forearms strike the body in the area of the belly button and directly behind the area we call the Ming Men point. Look over your shoulder, get a little further around each time. Feel each vertebra turning in place. Try to visualize each vertebra turning, starting from the lower spine, working all the way up into your neck. Try not to go too fast. We all have a tendency to want to speed through. Slow it down so you can really get aware of each vertebra. Good. So we're going to add to this stimulating the bubbling spring. So as we turn away, we're going to come up onto the toe. Pressing the toes into the ground, stimulating that area just below the ball of the foot, kidney 1 point. The point that, quite honestly, you should be massaging every single day. I usually suggest before you go to bed, because it does help you sleep, but energetically, it's an extremely important point to keep open, allowing the energy to flow up the kidney meridian. Good. Come back to flat-footed. Now, as you turn to the side, you're going to lift the toes towards the body. Stimulating the meridians that are coming up and down the ankles. A few more. Slow it down, back to flat-footed. Slow it down even more, come back to water waves. And slow it down until you come to a stop. Good. Spinal cord breathing. The best I know for opening spaces between the vertebrae, especially in the lower back. Key is the hips in this. The hips go back, or you're sticking your butt back while your chest goes to the ceiling. So we're making like a C in this direction. You're looking up, your arms come up, elbows bent about a 45-degree angle. As you look up, you're pushing your butt out towards the back, pulling the elbows down, feeling the shoulder blades come down and together. Then we breathe out, the arms circle around, come to the front, come together, elbows come together, chin gets tucked into the chest, the hips come forward. Don't bend from the waist. We breathe in as we come up and around. Breathe out as you come forward. Pause. Get a little extra stretch. Breathe in. Pause. Get a little extra stretch. Stay within your comfort range. Never ever want to experience any pain or discomfort in any of the QiGong postures. Just do what feels comfortable. And if you can't do a particular movement, visualize your body doing it. One more time. And down. Good. Bring the hands down towards the ground. Come back into the Wuji stance. As you breathe in, your arms come up, bringing the energy up. The hands rotate until they're palms up. And then palms up, come up onto your toes. And then lower the heels as you go back down. So we breathe in. Pause, get a little extra stretch here. Breathe out. Pause. Using the pauses to transition, moving the energy. Bringing the energy up from the ground, up the torso, all the way out to the heavens. And then bringing down that heavenly energy and sending it all the way down to the earth. Also sending energy that no longer serves you to be recycled into the earth. One more time. And bringing down the heavens, arms out, palms up. Gather the energy in your hands. As you breathe in, pause. Breathe out. Push that energy down through the top of the head, down the torso, down the legs, into the ground. Twice more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Step out to a little wider stance. Let's do release to the exterior. So we're going to bring our arms around, make fists as the forearms come together, drop down, and then come all the way up and release. One more time. Good. Bring your feet in fairly close. Step out 1 foot and turn at the ends. Or with the one ankle, sorry. And reverse direction. Good. Now you can hold on to a chair. Find a focal point about 12 feet in front of you to help with the balance. Get the balance into one leg if you're comfortable with that. Otherwise, just stay with it on your toe. You're going to bring your foot forward and turn at the ankle again. And reverse. And bring. Let's switch to the opposite side. So first we'll start with just on the toe. Turn some circles. And reverse. Good. Get that balance. And then turn the ankle. And reverse. Good. Bring your kidneys. Trace down the back of the legs, around to the toes, up the inside of the legs, to the quad, into the belly button, and then around back again. Breathe in as you come up. Breathe out as you go down. One more time. Good. Put your hands in front of you. See if you can begin to feel the energy coming out of the QiGong points, the points in the palms of your hands. As you breathe in, just let the hands separate for about 3-4 inches. And then as you breathe out, they come back to the starting point. You breathe in, breathe out. Relax the fingers, relax the hands. Do it nice and slow, synchronize with the breath. Just imagine you've got this ball that inflates, then deflates. Begin to see if you can feel the energy building between the two palms. Good. So we're going to do turning the prayer wheel. We're going to bring it all up in front of us. Bring it into the head, down the body to the hips. The energy continues to flow down to the floor and around, but we bring the ball forward and start over. As you bring the ball away, it's back, so we don't have to move our arms very much. And then as you lift forward, it's a nice, easy movement. Try to feel your head going into this ball of energy and then popping out. Feel the energy cascading down your body. One more time, and then we're going to, as we come up, we're going to turn to the left. So as you're coming up, turn to the left, go down the left leg, come up, and then lean back into the right leg. Then lean forward again. So you're transferring weight from one leg to the other. Nice wide bow stance. The back leg is turned out about a 45-degree angle. The front foot is fairly forward. Nice and slow, synchronized breath. One more time, and as you come back up, you're going to turn to the center. And we're just going to turn 3 times here. At the end of the 3rd time, as you come up, you're going to turn to your right. Shifting your weight forward and back. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Then when you're ready, as you come up, you're going to turn to the center again. Three times. Good. Hold on to the chi ball. Turn so your left hand is on top. Fair lady works the shuttle. So we're going to turn to the left arm is up over the head, the right hand pushes through. Then we grab that chi ball, roll it over, and then push to the right. Breathing in center, breathing out as you push to the side. One more time each side. Good. Go back to the center. Drop the hands down. Wise owl looks back. So we start with our hands down, thumbs pointing towards the earth or slightly back. As we look over our left shoulder, we rotate the hands as far as they can comfortably go. And then as we look over the right shoulder, we rotate them the opposite direction. Nice and easy back and forth. If you rotate your head like an owl 360 degrees, you're going too far. One more time each side. Good. Back to center. Now, especially those of you who have taken my class in person, you know one of my favorite all times moves is called teacups. It's a little hard to do on Zoom, but let's try. The idea here is you're holding cups of tea. We're going to start one hand and then we'll go to two. But so imagine you're holding a cup of tea here and you don't want to spill it. The idea is you're going to try and rotate it 360 degrees. So the way I like to do the one-handed is a little wider stance. Let's go one direction. We're going to bring it across the body as we lean to the side. We're going to turn so the fingers now face towards the back. Shift your weight to the opposite side. Now the fingers are pointing towards away from you. Then as I shift my weight back, it comes up over my head, turns around, and we come back to the beginning. So just not easy side to side motion. Once you get this motion, it should just flow. Now, as I said before we started, sometimes it's helpful if you put something in your palm, whether it be a cup or just something that lays in there, so that you keep your hand nice and flat, and then you're aware of when you're starting to turn your hand over. You keep doing it. I'm just going to kind of scooch up here and see how everybody's doing. Good. Very nice. Try not to go too high. Some people are going way up here. That makes it difficult. Just keep it just above your head, comes around, and then it comes to about waist high.
That was a really good point, because I was going high because I didn't have the flexibility, but I found it improved by going lower.
Okay, and if you're going lower, can you just let it kind of just flow, or do you have to go high? Lolly? Just try to let it flow. One more time. Good. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. Okay. The next one's probably going to be tougher because you probably started with your dominant hand. So let's just try now switching hands. Same idea, you're coming across, then towards the back, circling around, over the head, and back down. Now you'll notice when we're doing one-handed, it's all side to side. It doesn't have to be, but certainly makes it easier and kind of makes more sense. So I'm just shifting side to side. My hips aren't moving forward or back at all. As we move to two-handed, it's going to be basically hips moving forward and back. So it's a little different motion, but it's the same idea. And what I love about teacups is it works all your joints, works the entire body. The shifting back and forth is great for balance. And you're spiraling the energy, which you really want to try and strive for in QiGong. One more time. Good. Go back to center. Now you can do it also in reverse, where we were going across and back. You could instead, so you were going across and back, I would come around and do it that way. But we can skip that for now. Let's go to two-handed. Two-handed, I'm going to turn the side much more, like I said, front to back out of the hips. The idea here is the hands are forward. As my hips come forward, my hands naturally move back. They come inside. Fingers rotate to the back. Then I lean forward, so my hips go back. My hands come forward again. This time I lean back so my chest is to the sky. My hands come over the head. You see why two-handed is especially great for the spine moving forward and back, much like when we did spinal cord breathing. Don't worry about the breathing. Just try to get the motion. Try to become aware. Some of you are grabbing whatever you're holding, and you're still not aware of where your palms are. The idea here is the palms stay flat. Notice I'm not holding on to this little case at all. I'm just letting it lay on top of my fingers. Just try to relax into it. I know at first this can be very confusing and frustrating. Try to just relax into it. Just let the motion come. It'll take a little time, but eventually it just becomes a nice flow that you don't even think about. One more time. And back. Now I'm curious, compared to one-handed, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And just compare the two-handed compared to the one-handed. Did you like the two-handed better? Thumbs up.
Yes. Yes.
Interesting. Okay. So most people like the two-handed better. Okay. It varies. Great.
Easier.
All right. So, sorry?
It's easier.
It is only easier for some people. Some people find the one-handed is easier. It isn't always the case. So here we are going to do the reverse. So we started out bringing it back and around. Okay. Instead, we're going to bring it over the head. Bring it over the head backwards, forwards, in. So you can move it this way, or you can move it this way. Really doesn't make much difference, but you notice you can do it either way, but slow it down, slow it down. Try to turn those palms around. You bend forward, the hips go back. Good. One more time. And down. As long as we're doing some tough stuff today, let's do horse riding stance. So the legs, the torso, the abs. So we're going to go as wide a stance as you feel comfortable with, turning your feet out about a 45 degree angle roughly. You're going to find the angle of your feet is determined by the tracking of your knees. So as I bend down, and I'm not bending forward, I'm not bending from the waist, I'm dropping down. That's better. I'm dropping down. Notice my knee is tracking in the direction that it's already pointing. So I just want to down, hands on your thighs, if that helps, so that you can sit up nice and straight. And just kind of keep separating the legs, finding that distance that is somewhat comfortable. Don't go any deeper than you're comfortable with. Now keeping your hands supported easier. If you feel comfortable with that, you can take your hands away. You can either bring them down to the knees and apply a little less pressure, or you can just let them drop. The key is keeping the back nice and straight. So it's like I'm trying to sit down on a stool here. Just breathe into it. Won't do it for very long. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on up. Shake it. Great exercise for building your core, building your quads, leg strength, especially as we get older. Leg strength starts to diminish. So that's something you want to be careful of and do things that will help you maintain the strength in our legs. Let's do golden rooster, hands on one leg. Balance exercise and coordination. The idea here is let's start with, as we breathe in, we're going to lift the left leg up to about a 90-degree angle and then bring it back down. Breathe in, right leg comes up. Breathe out, it comes back down. So just synchronize that with the breath first. Breathe in, pause, breathe out. If you need something to lean against the wall or a chair, that's perfectly fine. Do whatever feels comfortable. Just get into nice and slow. Finding that focal point about 12 feet in front of you will definitely help. Or a point on the wall. Good. Okay, so golden rooster, actually, let's do cloud walking instead. So it's the same idea, but it's opposite hand. So as my left hand comes up, my right hand comes up. Then I'm going to settle them both nice and easy and switch to the opposite side. It's like bouncing the ball, except we're not forceful, nice and soft. We lift the heel first, then come off the toe, then the toe goes down, then the heel goes down. If you've read the blog that I have about balance, which refers mostly to the New York Times article by Jane Brody, you'll see that just even shifting your weight side to side like this helps a lot with balance. It's looking good. One more time each side. Good. Bring it down. Bringing down the heavens. Gathering the energy, breathing in. Breathe out. Push it down the top of the head, down the torso, down in the ground to be recycled. Twice more. Good. Let's do a little more with the legs. Stealing from Shavasana set 2. We're going to do the crane. So, crane salutes the moon. So we're going to bring our hands, palms together. We're going to bring it over to the left side. And the left leg comes behind you as you bend down. Come back up. Hand switches now to the right, and the right leg comes down and back. Breathe in as you come up. Breathe out as you go down. One more time each side. And come on up. Good. Shake it out. Let's stretch everything out with the arrow. So bringing the feet together, interlace your fingers, pointer, index finger pointing straight up. Go ahead. Getting down, the knees coming together to help support you. And come all the way up, even slightly back, stretch upwards. Breathe in as you come down. Breathe out as you come up. One more time, go all the way up. Let your hands separate. Swan dive down with a flat back. And then when you get to about a 90, let your back relax. And just let yourself roll slowly down. Go to a little slightly wider stance. Each time you breathe out, just let everything relax. Let yourself drop even closer to the floor. Especially letting the shoulders, neck, and head relax. The only place you should feel any tension is in the back of the legs. Now you're going to tuck your hips in. Slowly roll up, stacking the vertebra one on top of the other. Low, the mid back, the upper back, the shoulders, the neck, and let the hands open up, chest to the sky. Breathe it in. Bringing the hands into prayer position in front of you, compress the chest. And open palms up to the sky, heart to the sky. So we breathe in, pause, breathe out. One more time. Bring your feet together. Drop your hands down so the right hand is palm up below the lower dantian, below the belly button. Left hand scoops out. Thumb and first finger separate. Center line of the body as it moves slowly downward. So we breathe in as we gather energy with the opposite hand. We pause. We breathe out as that hand slowly drifts down. Breathe in. And as it comes down, feel the energy come out of that gap between the thumb and the first finger. One more time. And just place one palm over the other just below the belly button, either holding at the wrist or intertwining the webbing of the thumbs. Let your body relax and just feel that energy move through your body. Let that energy move you. Bamboo in the wind. And just visualize your whole body ablaze with energy. The energy extending outward, protecting you. Notice that sense of peace. Take a nice deep breath and take that with you for the rest of the day.
Thank you, Steve.